Amazing. Well, I'm Tessa
Hey,
with MamasGeeky. Thank you so much for taking the time today.
so welcome, sugar.
Oh my God, I can't show you, but I have a Rogan Gambit tattoo on my back. My husband has a matching one. We got when we got married, so massive fan.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much.
I've got to
That's
ask you.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, up you can see Rogan Gambit are up here as well.
Yes, yes, I
Big
love
fan.
it.
But I've
Oh,
got to know, what was it like for you coming back to this role? Because I can't even imagine them having cast anybody else.
thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I mean, to be honest, I love Rogue. I loved her when I first saw the drawing of her when I went for the audition back in the 90s. That was the first time I'd seen her because I hadn't read the comics. And I just fell in love with her. I love the sassiness. I love her strength, but her vulnerability. The fact that she loves Gambit, but she can't really show it.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
fact that she has to stay strong, but she's hurting and she's vulnerable underneath. Um, all of those things make her a truly intriguing character. And the fact that she's the strongest woman in the universe. I mean,
Hmm.
like this, what's not to love? So I loved doing her in the 90s, and now when they've asked me to come back, I was just overjoyed, and there was no question of a doubt that I would do it.
I love it. And what has
Yeah.
it been like for you, like the fans' reactions? Because this has been, I mean, dare I say, a perfect series back then and now. Like I have literally no notes. It's so good. But what does it felt like to have the fans really appreciate this it coming back, the new
It's
version?
been it's been amazing because we didn't get that back in the 90s. Of course, there was no internet, there
Yeah.
was no social media. We didn't even have cell phones. I mean, you know, no emails, nothing. So we really just we had each other, the original cast, and we would get together and record oftentimes together in the studio. And then we go out for a drink or two or three afterwards. And and just we loved each other, but we had no idea what kind of imprint the show was making. And it's only been in the last 5 years that we've found out exactly how much the show meant to the fans back
Mhm.
then. And so now to interact with them online, but also at Comic Cons in real life, it's been overwhelmingly beautiful, and the stories and the individual stories that we hear from people,
Mhm.
some of them break our hearts, but they make us feel so good that we were able to help so many people through some tough times, oftentimes.
Yeah, I see you all the time interacting on Twitter or X, whatever you want to
Yeah,
call it, and I know it means so much to so many people. So I love
good.
that you do that.
Thank you so
And
much.
I've got to talk to you about. I'm literally tearing up thinking about it. You know exactly what I'm going to talk about. That moment with Gambit and the that
Yeah.
line. I can't even
Yeah,
say it. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to cry.
I
Um,
do.
but how did you get into that like mindset in that moment, because the way you deliver that line in the dark as it's fading out, I mean it's perfection. Like I watched with my 11 and 12-year-old daughters and we were sobbing like it was.
Really? Oh my
Yes.
god, oh my god. Now, had they seen the original show, or did they just start watching the new show?
So they did. We had rewatched it with them to prepare when we knew this one was coming.
Right?
So they
That's great.
were.
That's so great you get to do that with your kids.
Oh, it's amazing, and they
And they
love
cry and
Rogue.
they
And
cried too.
oh
They
my
cried.
God, we were all a mess. My daughter's like, not Gambit, not
I
Gambit.
know.
But you like, and you feel for Rogue so much in that moment because she did have
Yeah,
this struggle, you know, with Magneto and
yeah,
Gambit and then to lose Gambit. Like, how did you bring yourself to that?
yeah. Well, I mean, you have children, so you would understand this, but, I had been grieving for the last 8 months or so before I did that episode because my sweet young 17-year-old niece, Maya, had passed away from cancer.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. It was gutting,
Yeah.
gutting. when you lose a child, it's awful. And my poor sister and my mom and dad, it was their only granddaughter. And so it was devastating. And so I'd been grieving, grieving, grieving for months. And when I got the script and read it, I went, oh, I know how this feels, right? I
Mhm.
was like, oh God, yep, I don't have to do any homework here. I don't have to do any emotional homework. I've been doing my homework for the last 8 months. I'm going to channel all of that into my performance and make people feel it just with my voice.
Mhm.
And that was the goal. And I felt that if I could do that, others who had lost someone, and many people had lost someone because the pandemic, so many
Yeah.
people lost loved ones during that time. And all the wars that are happening right now, seeing all the death and destruction, and it's just overwhelming.
Mhm.
So I think so many people are grieving and they may not even know that they're grieving.
Yeah.
And I felt that if I could do a performance like that and let them feel it in my voice and that it resonated with something inside of them, they would feel the feelings and it would let the gates gush open and they could release all of that tension and angst. And in doing so, hopefully they might be able to find some healing too.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I did, and that's what happened, and it was definitely helpful and therapeutic for me to be able to do that, and I'm hearing from fans that it also helped them. So that's why I also felt some responsibility to go online afterwards and touch base with the fans and go, "How are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm seeing your little notes that you're gutted and you're broken and you'll never get over it." But you will, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you're so phenomenal, and like I said, like just with that one line to actually like destroy people, it's the power of
I
your voice and
know.
your
I'm
talent. It really
selfish.
is.
I wanted them to suffer like I was suffering.
Well, we did, but
You're welcome.
yes, thank you so much. But I love that then we get to see her get like mad too. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes,
Like his name
I
was
know.
Gambit. Don't you forget
Mhm.
it? You know, like
I
I
know.
love that. And so, can you talk
Me
about
too.
yes? Can you talk about like doing that and just getting to be
Oh.
mad?
Yes, yes, because I mean, a lot of the grief process is also you go through some rage, like, why does this have to happen? Well, what if I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it in my family, I've seen it with others, and I had had a lot of grief and I'd had a lot of rage and anger too. And I just was like, great, I'm gonna let it all out. And Captain America, watch out, go fetch, you know. It was fun. And then to be able to like smash a tank into another tank and break open everything and face the American government forces. And I mean, it was, an actor's dream. What can I
Mhm.
say? It's an actor's dream to be able to play a role like that. And I think it's interesting that the fans have also noted that they felt like they were watching a movie. They didn't
Mhm.
feel like they were watching like a cartoon. It became so real,
Mhm.
right? And that
Yeah.
shows you too, like it's a team effort. The art, the way that they can make your face now show the emotions more, the eyes, and then with the voices and with the pacing and the music and the direction, it's
Mhm.
it's phenomenal. And as our original director of the original show, Larry Houston he likes to say, the first time around when you put all the elements together, he said it was like lightning in a bottle.
Mhm.
I would say we've managed to come up with the lightning in a bottle a second time.
Yeah.
And I'm just grateful and honored to be part of it.
I mean, it's such a great show. Like I said, I loved it then, had no notes, and then now it's like I don't know how they recaptured it and made it somehow better. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
so good.
I
But you
agree.
yeah, I mean, you've played Rogue for so long. Is there anything that you have learned from her personally?
Oh, wow. I mean, I think she reminded me of my own loneliness and my own desire to belong. And when she goes, or when she gets kicked out of her home and she goes wandering around the world going, where am I? Who do I belong to? What am I here for? What's my purpose? Where do I go? And then he calls out to her, Professor X, and says,
Mhm.
mute, you're lonely, you're this, you're that. Come, we have a home where you belong. And when she finds that, she finally is with her tribe. And I realized I've been missing that like for a long, long time. And our X-Men community is my tribe.
Mhm.
This
I love it.
is my tribe. We belong to each other. And we need to keep reminding ourselves it's okay to be different. Isn't
Mhm.
that wonderful? So your hair is blue and pink and green tomorrow. Who cares? Great. Like, let's live and let live and love and let love. And we need to keep spreading that message because the naysayers, the haters are out
Mhm.
there and they're trying to drag us back into the 12th century. But we're not going to go
No way.
going anywhere.
I love it. Well, that's my time. Thank you so much. I could have talked to you all day. You're amazing.
Yeah,
And
we'll talk again.
yes.
And keep an eye out for my memoir, A Rogue's Tale, which is coming out in the fall and it'll be available on Amazon.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out. Don't you worry.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it.
Oh, I already know I'm gonna love it.
It's a little spicy.
Ooh, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Congratulations on everything.
Thank you, darling.
Thank you, Tessa. Have a great
Bye.